How's it going, guys? My name is Tavarish, and a few years ago, I made the frankly awesome choice of buying and daily driving a Mercedes-Benz S-Class. But not just any S-Class, I got one with a V12 engine and twin turbos. That car, when it was brand new, was 140 grand. But if you flash forward to today, I am a changed man. I realized something about myself, and that is, when it comes to daily drivers, the perfect daily driver is something that needs to be a little bit more efficient. It needs to be a little bit more practical. So that's why its replacement, my new daily driver, has an even bigger V12 engine. It's way more expensive, and most importantly, it is much, much faster. I sort of went the other way on that, didn't I? Welcome, everyone, to the new hotness. This thing is amazing. This is a 2015 Mercedes-Benz S65, and it feels really, really good to say. Now, if you're new to my channel, you'll notice that the cars in the back and on the sides of my shop are really sort of projects. They're all projects, and they've all had weird histories. But this one is the cleanest and newest car I have ever purchased that has a clean title, and it hasn't been on fire, and it hasn't been underwater, and it hasn't been vandalized. Actually, based on how it looks, I'm not sure that last part's true. Now, I am a huge fan of the S-Class. I've owned a 2000 S500, a 2004 S600, a 2007 S600, and now my 2015 Mercedes-Benz S65 AMG. I love saying that. And that AMG is what makes this car special, because that means it's the sporty one. It's real fast. Now, getting down to business, I'm going to show you exactly why this car is so special. This car has a lot of reasons why it's special, but this one in particular is a pretty big one. This is a 6-liter V12 that is hand-built in a Falterbach, Germany, and this thing has so much power that I can't think of an analogy right now, but this is very, very powerful. It has 621 horsepower and 738 foot-pounds of torque. That's a lot. That's quite a bit. Well, the reason why this engine is so good is because this has been around in one form or another since 2003. This engine is almost 20 years old. Now, in its first form, it definitely didn't have as much power. It had around 493 horsepower, and that was called the M275. It got developed again and called the M277, and then its final form in the M279. This makes the most power out of any V12 Mercedes or AMG have ever built. Well, for Mercedes at least. I know some Paganis have some higher horsepower engines, but even that has roots with this engine, because the Pagani Huayra, that crazy hypercar, has an engine that's derived from this. Now, that's called the M158. It has slightly smaller turbos, a higher rev limit, and a different intake manifold. But if anybody asks you if your Mercedes S-Class has a Pagani Huayra engine, you say yes. You say yes, because why not? Now, you might find yourself asking, if this engine has so much power, then it has to sound amazing, especially because it's the sporty one, right? Now, that sounded good, but not great. It needs a little bit more, maybe in form of aftermarket additions, and that is the party trick of this car and any modern AMG, and it's the fact that these things can be tuned really, really easily. In fact, with an ECU tune and some turbo and intercooler mods, this thing can produce in excess of 850 horsepower and, get this, 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. I'm not sure that that's necessary. It'd be nice to have, but if I'm honest, 621 is good. 621 is just fine. Now, right about now is when I take you inside the car and we do a tour and I show you all the, well, for lack of better terms, quirks and features of this amazing automobile. But unfortunately, I'm not Doug DeMuro. I can't do it as well as him. So we're going to go handheld, and I'm going to show you a few really interesting things that I think make this car so special. Well, okay, let's begin with just a quick exterior tour. This is Obviously not the stock color. This was wrapped, and I am not the biggest fan of black cars, especially matte black cars, especially matte black wrapped cars. But we will get to that in a later video because I can't wait to take this all off. If any of you were watching and looking at this car and saying, I didn't know Tavares liked murdered out cars, I definitely don't. But this is a very good starting point to modding this car and eventually getting it to better than it was when it was brand new. What I do like are these wheels. Now, I don't like the color of the wheels. I believe these were a brushed silver originally, or even a chrome, but these 20-inch wheels really look the business, especially on a lighter color car. This car was originally white. Now, behind those wheels are some brakes that are steel. They're not carbon ceramic, even though this did have a carbon ceramic option, and I am very, very grateful that this car did not have it, because those carbon ceramic brakes are like $4,000 each if you have to replace a rotor. Now I'll show you exactly why I don't like the wrap here, because when I asked the guy at the dealership about this car, he said that it was in showroom condition. I said, are there any blemishes on this fine automobile? He said, nope, it's in showroom condition, and this is exactly how I got it. Oh yeah, guys, this is showroom condition. Definitely what you want to see. Now, this is obviously a lot more dirty, but it just goes to show you that even just leaving a car outside that's matte black, you are going to have a filthy car at the end of 1 week. This is just outside my house. We have pollen, we have trees, we have leaves, we have animals, we have everything, we have the elements, and this wrap really isn't enjoying life. So this has to go really, really quickly. But thankfully, even though the wrap is super, super ugly, it is a reason why this car was so cheap. Now, these cars usually would have been around the $75,000 to $80,000 mark, but mine was less than that, was way less than that. Mine was $64,000, which is a lot of money, but this is still way less than a comparable one with no accidents and no salvage title history, nothing like that. This one does have a few miles on it, has 75,000 miles, but on this engine, I know it's tried and true and tested, and it can go for many, many hundreds of thousands with good maintenance. But let's get on to the core of the S-Class experience, and that is in the interior. Now, if you can see this, yeah, you can definitely see that little indent right there. That is the keyless entry. Well, the keyless go. I don't know if Mercedes calls it something different now, but if you press that, it locks the car. The mirrors fold in, which are carbon fiber, which is really cool. But in order to open the car back up, all you have to do is put your hand back here, and it opens back up, lights turn on, and the car comes to life. And oh yes. This is what I call next level, ladies and gentlemen. This is a Designo two-tone interior. It has black here and white up there, and the stitching is just amazing. So if you take a look inside, you have twin LCD screens, one right there and one right there. Let's put it in the on position. All you have to do is press that twice. This AMG logo comes up. Let's just put it on AMG menu. Boom, more gauges. So this really is the sporty one. So if we press this, this is one of my favorite buttons in the entire car. You press that, and it goes into a menu that includes this massage. And let's go through all the options. We have hot relaxing massage back, hot relaxing massage shoulders, activating massage. It activates your back in case your back is deactivated. Classic massage. Then it has a mobilizing massage. It mobilizes your back like troops at Normandy. That probably wasn't a great joke. And then an active workout. So the active workout is weird because if you press it, let's just press it. It says press back against the pressure spot in the backrest. And I am like pressing my back real hard, and then it's giving me some resistance, but I don't think this is an active workout. I mean, people who buy this car probably think it is, but I mean, does your car have an active workout? To be honest, I guess mine doesn't either. Acoustic lock feedback. That just means that when you lock it, it honks. There's panel heating, which is just the most baller thing ever. Not only are the seats heated, but you have heated armrests and heated center console, which is, I've never seen a car with this attention to detail in just like, hey, what can we heat? Let's just heat everything. Now, another thing that sets this car apart is the fact that it has a manual mode and a sport mode. So we put it into sport, and that little S comes up right there like Superman. And if you put it in manual mode, then you can use these paddles back here. They're sort of shorty paddles, but they are very responsive because this has a 7-speed automatic transmission, and this has a torque converter lockup. It really does feel the better end of a dual clutch transmission. It's not as fast as a dual clutch, but it definitely is very, very responsive, and it does like a little burble every time you upshift and downshift, so it does give you a little bit of that boy racer vibe. One of the things I love about this car is that the interior quality is really second to none. All this carbon fiber stuff, you have this IWC watch that just looks like a piece of jewelry in the middle. Everything looks very, very premium. You have quad zone climate control. You have 2 in the front and 2 in the rear, and each zone has its own fan. So not only does it have temperature control, but it has fan control as well. But one thing that sets this car apart from the others is the fact that you go to the glove box here, and you have a dispenser, and that is free side mood. I actually had to buy this on Amazon for $100. This is a fragrance dispenser, and what it does is when you have your AC on, it just squirts a little bit of that fragrance every once in a while, and it does it because your nose gets used to whatever smell is being put out. So it does it every once in a while, so you never get used to that smell, and it's very refreshing every time it comes out. Freeside Mood is pretty nice. It's like a potpourri, very springy scent, and it is kind of pricey, but it's definitely worth it if you have an S-Class. But another thing that I never get tired of are these. These are the tweeters for the Burmester high-end sound system, and they do a very interesting thing when you turn the car on. So I'm just gonna press the engine start. Oh yes. That is completely unnecessary, and I am here for it. Now down here between the seats, you have this amazing center console with the embroidery of a Falterbach AMG. It feels really, really premium. One thing that blows my mind every single time is the fact that you can open it from this side, like that, and you can also open it from that side, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is witchcraft. Now inside here, there really isn't a lot of room. There's a bunch of USBs and stuff like that, but there's also a remote, because if you can't be bothered to press buttons here, then you can always do it with the remote. So like it does things, and I don't understand why. I mean, are you tailgating with an S-Class? I don't understand what this is for. Now on top of the massaging seats, you also have a cooled seat function. You have a heated seat function that can work at the same time, and you also have a function that moves the passenger seat. So if I wanted to move the passenger seat, there, I can do it from my position, but I can also do it from back there. Actually, let's go back there and I'll show you what an S-Class is really all about. Now this, for all intents and purposes, is the best seat in the house. Well, not if you enjoy driving, but honestly, it's a really, really nice place to be. First off, take a look at the stitching. It's just fantastic. Now I'm getting a little bit of flicker from the LEDs up there, but I think we'll manage. All right, I apologize for how dark it's gonna be in here, but I think it's gonna be worth it. So, ooh. Right off the bat, it's like a nightclub in here. Okay, let's lower these shades. There, and there. And let's pop open the sunroof here. Oh yeah. And right here you can see the center speaker, the Burmester high-end. Now back here is where a lot of magic happens. First off, you have your remote. Turn that on, and you have access to everything. I believe I have a DVD of Stuart Little and Stuart Little 2. The issue here is that this looks almost exactly like an iPad, and this is not touchscreen. So if we just go to like our regular menu, You have all your car settings, your seat settings. You can do whatever you want. You have massaging seats in the back. You have heated and cooled, and it just is as luxurious as you want a car to be. It also has the dual zone climate control in the rear. We're just gonna turn that off for now. Down here, you have a regular power outlet and then also a 120 volt outlet, so you can charge, I don't know, like anything you want. You can put a microwave in here if you really wanted to. Now here is supposed to be for like champagne glasses. You just press this down and apparently that's supposed to hold your champagne glasses. It doesn't really do much for me, but it holds water bottles just as well. Now, if you notice that the car has a blue hue everywhere, it has this mood lighting, and that mood lighting, you can change the color. So you can go from red to blue, to yellow, to orange, to basically anything you want. But here is one of my favorite features of this car, and it's this right here. So you press, let's see which button. You press this right here, like it's like a private plane or something. So you press that and this starts going forward, out of the way, and it goes all the way forward, like into the dashboard. The headrest comes down. It keeps going. Still going. Still going. You definitely don't want to have anything on the seat because it gets crushed. It's literally just against the dashboard. And this does take a little bit of time. This comes up. Your footrest with padded pillow. This is already fully reclined. That comes up. Then you got a footrest that comes out of there. And boom, look at that. This is a fully private plane environment. And let's get in. Oh boy. Close that. Have my remote here. This is not bad. This is not bad at all. Now, while this is a very, very cool feature, I'm gonna show you something that a lot of reviewers don't know unless you own one of these cars, and that is the fact that there is another party piece to this. So if you just put this down and remove the headrest, press this so you can control the front seat, and what happens is you can actually recline this almost all the way back. So Mercedes calls it one continuous surface for you to lie on. Now the screen makes it a little bit difficult, but it's not super difficult. So this should come almost all the way back. Yeah, something like that. And then you can put your feet up and over the seat. It's not very continuous, there's gaps. And this also has a memory seat function, so just press the 1 and this will just go back to whence it came. Now I have a lot of work cut out for me, and you guys will find out exactly how much that is in this episode. But in order for you guys to find the best cars possible, you should use today's sponsor, Car Vertical, because it is the best vehicle history report money can buy. So not only does it do things like mileage discrepancy and fraud, but you can see if the car's been in a flood, in a fire, it's been damaged in any way, and if the car's been in a salvage lot, you can actually see photos of the car in the salvage lot, and you can compare them to what the car looks like right now, so you have a full history of the vehicle. Now, not only does Car Vertical tell you if your car has been stolen here, but it tells you if the car's been stolen all over the world. It does checks all over the world, so you can have the most up-to-date information about your vehicle history. Now, if you use my code Tavarish, you can get 20% off your vehicle history report right now. It's in the link in the video description below. It is totally worth it. I use it for all my cars. And unless you're me, you definitely want the best car you can get, so go check it out right now. Now, right about now is the time where I usually would take this car on a test drive and make funny faces and laugh and say that this is the fastest car I've ever driven and how the technology in this car allows it to basically drive itself autonomously. But today is going to be a little bit different because I'm doing something that I should have done before I bought the car, and that is get an inspection. Now, I'm taking this to the shop. not this shop, it's a different shop with actual mechanics, actual professional mechanics that know their way around a Mercedes. Now, no matter what I think of the car, even though I do know that the cosmetics need a little bit of work, this thing needs a thorough going over. So that's why I took my car to Lake County Euros. It's a shop in Lake County that deals with Euros. And my car is right here with Frankie, the owner, working on this thing. Well, not exactly working on it. We're gonna see what's wrong with it, because as any car in my shop, I bought it without any sort of pre-purchase inspection, which is generally a good practice, right?
Absolutely.
Frankie put it on a scanner right here. So we're gonna scan everything because, I mean, this car is all electronic, has a bunch of modules, and we're also gonna pop the hood. Look at that! You put it in Honda mode? Oh, there we go, that's Honda mode. So the carbon fiber means that it's special.
Very special.
So just be careful. Yeah, it pops right off. Take a look at this. We have our little tiny intercoolers, and they are tiny for a V12 that's 6 liters and hand built. But this V12 is derivative of the same V12 that they used, I mean, since 2003. So this is an M279, and it's about the same as the M277, the M275, and also the M158, which is like the Pagani Huayra motor. That actually had slightly smaller turbos than this, but it made a lot more power. So,
you know, I've been saying the word Huayra wrong my whole life now, I guess.
What? How have you been saying it?
Hurrah.
That sounds better. I drive a Hurrah. Hip hip Huayra. Give it a little shake test. You're good. That does not look good.
Okay. No obvious leaks. That's definitely a plus. We're gonna take
Right.
all
So
these,
so the obvious leaks are not here, which means that all the leaks are just going to be very, very not obvious and hard to track down.
Yes.
Honestly, doesn't really look all that bad as far as like ball joints. This is just a little dirty, I guess.
Crud, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the mileage, I'm actually pretty impressed you don't have grease all over the place.
Mm-hmm. So these are not the carbon ceramic brakes, which would have been very, very, very expensive.
Yes.
But take a look at the rotors.
You definitely need some brakes.
Yeah, I mean, that lip is pretty extreme.
That looks like the Rocky Mountains right there. You got good tire wear. Okay. Nothing abnormal, no bushings that are probably bad.
Yeah, it's these are PS4S's. This is actually the tires that I put on every single car, and I'm glad that they came on this. I don't think these are going to be the stock tires, are they?
I don't believe so. This tire is from 2018. 18,
so not the stock tires. So these tires have been replaced.
Definitely not. You got your fender liners that are broken.
That's a big hole.
Yep.
That's a big old hole. So I'm guessing that this car was in some sort of slight fender bender accident type thing here. Because,
I would say.
Yeah, because of that, and also this, and also just this. Okay, this I can explain because when I got the car, this was held on by duct tape, and I didn't know, and I figured it out when I ran over my bumper. So that's how you figure it out.
That's a good one.
It's just weight reduction, just making itself a little lighter.
Was this a carbon piece?
It was chrome.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got a new one, but you know, this bumper probably needs a little bit of TLC as well. So how's the exhaust look? Anything like, you know, stand out to you?
Well, I love that it's not extremely rusted.
Yeah.
That's definitely a plus.
Well, if it was extremely rusted at 5 years old, that would have been, I mean, it's not a Michigan car.
Same on the back, you have some outer wear, but nothing that I would be concerned about.
I mean, that's pretty sort of normal for these cars too, because they like to be cambered a bit.
And they're heavy, so.
Are they?
Just a little bit.
What's that? What's that guy right there? Is that a little? That looks like a male.
How much does this thing weigh?
I think it's like 5,000 pounds, maybe a little more.
Boots are good. Diff's not leaking. So someone serviced this diff before, so that's definitely a good sign.
Okay. So I mean, at some point, this was taken care of.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cool. Let me get my tools. Let's take these belly pans off.
Oh, are we doing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We gotta show everybody everything.
All right. I'm not worried. Okay.
Wow.
Dude, that is like literally the cleanest I've ever seen anything come off a Mercedes. So there's just that little water from the AC.
Yeah.
So that's not a problem. So we have our steering rack here. No major leaks, nothing like that.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Are we sure that there's oil in it? Maybe there's no oil in it.
I mean, maybe. No, but this thing is, like you said, it's ticking like a sewing machine, so. It's pretty good.
So one thing that these things like to eat is motor mounts.
Okay.
So sometimes the motor mounts are a little weepy or seepy. And I think they're like over here, maybe?
Should be right
here, right there. Yeah.
You don't see any purple goo coming out of it?
Nope, I don't see any at all.
Yeah. That's good.
And I apologize to the people at home. It's just really, really tight to see anything, but nope, they seem fine.
Yeah, they're good. Wow. All right, well let's scan this thing and let's see what hidden faults it might have.
So usually, if you take this to like a like a Midas or something, they go, "This is the worst car I've ever seen. I can't let you drive home like this. It would just be morally wrong of me." But this is actually not all that bad. Seems like we have some cosmetic damage here, but not much else. I mean, some maintenance stuff around here, but hopefully, fingers crossed, this isn't going to cost me too much. Okay, so how many modules are in this car?
Well, let's see. You got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50.
Come on, 60.
60.
All right, let's go.
70.
Come on, 80. Let's go.
79.
Oh.
79.
Oh, come on.
79 modules, but out of 79 modules, it's actually pretty good. You only got 4 that are actually faulty.
That's as far as percentage-wise, that's not bad.
You're really good.
It's like a Saturn V rocket. Like if 1% of the parts on the rocket fail, you have 1 million parts that are broken.
There you go. There you go. So we have right front door, air conditioning, your multifunction camera, and obviously your ECM. Okay,
so that is. The faults also could be something like stored codes, or just it got like confused or something,
Faults could be something as simple as low voltage in the system. Faults could also be that something doesn't talk to something else, so a module's gonna say, hey, you got a fault, let's figure it out.
Right.
So let's see, let's start with the obvious ones. Let's go into the ECM, let's see what we got. Communication with suspension control module is faulty. The message is lost.
It got lost. It's like, well, I mean, who sent it? Was it USPS? I'm not immediately concerned by that at all. Even though the dealer would be like, hey, listen, man, we gotta, the wiring harness needs to come out.
Can't drive this.
This is a death trap.
The field of view component A40 stereo malfunction camera is completely restricted. Well, I would,
I wonder what could restrict this camera. I mean, I wonder if there's any way that this camera is restricted with any of this. That's I'm gonna call it that right there.
Potentiometer for right front center air vent is faulty.
Okay. So that's a stored code.
Yes.
So it might not be current, but this is current and stored. So right front side air vent faulty, short circuit to battery, or an open circuit exists. I'm gonna go ahead and say that that's not a problem.
No.
Yep. So it's like probably something. I might just have to kind of cycle it off and on or something.
Let's just say your passenger might be a little warmer than you.
I'll let my wife know.
The output of the entrance lamp is faulty. A short circuit to battery.
That's such a German way of saying it. The output of the mirror heater is faulty. Let's check on the top of the engine just to make sure that there's no like egregious leaks or anything like that. So I know that this is around the mileage when they start needing spark plugs. And the spark plugs are a little bit of a pain in the butt to service. But it's not too bad. I mean, you just take all this off and it's right there.
Your belts look like they're decent shape. There's not too much stretch on them, so that's good. Coolant is definitely looking clean, so it's probably been done recently. Obviously air ducts, it's a Mercedes thing, they always break. I'm actually very impressed. I'm very impressed.
This is the first time any mechanic has looked at my car and said that they were impressed after I did literally zero research on picking this car.
Well, this was definitely a lucky buy. Normally these things are just trashed because nobody knows what they actually require to maintain them. So people buy them and they get scared when they get a huge bill, especially, you know, if they take it anywhere else. This is not a cheap car to maintain.
So, you know, you say that, but I have an S600 that has essentially the same drivetrain, the same engine, different transmission, and it's just as complicated. And knock on wood, I mean, we don't have any wood, knock on plastic, it didn't have anything like major go wrong with it. It's nothing, you know, that has like really expensive parts. Even those coil packs that are really expensive in the older ones, this has individual coil packs, so you can just buy each individual cylinder.
Good. That's very good.
Now, if something major breaks, like the engine goes, that's very expensive.
Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine how much a hand-built AMG motor costs.
Or like a turbo goes or something, and that's gonna need an engine out, which is a whole nother thing. But this seems to be in pretty decent, okay shape. I'm not gonna jinx myself and say the car is perfect, but I think I sort of lucked out on this.
Yeah, no, it's in good shape. For the mileage, upper 70s, this is in good shape. It really is. Besides this ugly black wrap on it. But
how dare you? I mean, this is, a lot of people on the internet feel like this is just the epitome of what this car can look like.
Oh yeah.
The interior is pretty well sorted. It's not anything bad. So I figure that we can just kind of take it as a given that this thing needs all its maintenance.
Yeah.
And then whatever repair parts it needs, like brakes and stuff like that, we can tally those up and you can tell me how much it costs.
Absolutely.
And hopefully that number isn't like insane.
Astronomical. Well, good thing that you have is you don't have the carbon ceramic brakes, so that saves you about $10,000 right there.
Saves me about $10,000. Hopefully my bill isn't going to be that high. All right, so I feel like I'm being sent to the principal's office here.
Yeah, Mr. Tavares. How much do you think all these repairs are going to come out to?
So I know
if you were to go to the dealer.
If I was to go to the dealer, I know that the brakes are expensive.
Yes.
I know that some of the maintenance items, the spark plugs and stuff, that's expensive. So I don't know, let's call it $3,500 bucks.
So wrong.
Okay. All right.
To do all the stuff here, which is basically front brakes, rear brakes, spark plugs, you got a broken headlight, so we got to replace the headlight. Okay. Flushing the differential, oil service, and a hydro pneumatic suspension system flush. You're looking at $5,512.
Okay, so that's the dealer price.
That is.
So where's the total? Okay, so that's $5,500 for what's essentially a tune-up.
Basically. The headlight is basically what throws it over the edge. That's a $3,000 headlight.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's $3,050. So, yeah, that car's not cheap.
No, not cheap at all. But if we were to send it over here, and you are an independent shop.
Oh, half of that.
Okay. So you'd save a substantial amount of money.
For sure.
By taking it to a shop like this.
And still using Mercedes parts.
Yeah, of course. Awesome. Okay, so I'm actually very happy that that car is not really in bad shape. Well, it's in bad shape, like, cosmetically. But it should be okay to drive for the foreseeable future.
Yes. When you pull that wrap off, it should be a good car again.
Oh, that's... I think he just jinxed it. Now, I know some of you guys are probably thinking, why am I wasting my time doing any sort of cosmetic modification on this car? It's not really that bad. I could probably change the colors of the wheels, and I can do some cosmetic mods and make this a little bit nicer and a little bit more livable. Well, this car is one of my favorite cars, and I think it is probably the best practical daily driver you can buy today. And also, this is the start of me changing my own image. I want something nice to drive around because I'm starting to take care of myself. I mean, if I realistically just drove this thing around as is, it would be the equivalent of me making a video with my fly open. That would be embarrassing, wouldn't it? Now, I am a huge fan of the S-Class. I've owned a 2000 S500, a 2004 S600. So let's begin. And I want to go from the front to the back because I'm a little bit concerned about how the front of this car is put together, and there might be some paint work. Actually, I'm going to be very, very surprised if this car doesn't need any paint work. I'll consider that a very, very big win. But everything on the front here is either plasti-dipped, wrapped, or painted, and all three of those things are done very, very badly. Now, to show you guys exactly how bad, I am just going to start peeling this off, and let me tell you how satisfying this is. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's about a 13. This is like unwrapping a Christmas present, and hopefully I don't get any coal. But underneath here is a very nice chrome grille, and underneath here are my sensors and cameras and stuff, and those weren't working very well because they were being obscured by all these, well, essentially dirty stickers. Now, this is not a how-to because I am not an expert on removing wrap. I know that you just take an edge and you pull it, and sometimes heat is necessary, but what I also did was I left the car in the hot sun for a few hours just to make sure that everything was a little bit more pliable. And I do have a heat gun if necessary, and I know that on the sides here, on the edges, sometimes they do put a little bit of glue. So we're gonna have to get some Goo Gone or some glue and adhesive remover, and we can take that off. And oh, it already looks better. It already looks way, way better. You take this. Oh, there we go. Whew, this is gonna need a clean. For sure. You know what's weird? They actually sell aftermarket black grills. And for the amount of money that somebody would pay to just put these stupid vinyl strips on, you can just buy a black grill. That already looks way better. And no issues with functionality. Okay, let's get to work. Okay, so this is looking so much better. Even in this state where it kind of almost looks like a police car that can do 200 something miles an hour. But let's just go over everything we did. And when I say we, I mean just me. Hi, Jared. This has a lot of flat panels, and tell you what, taking off the vinyl wrap off a very, very large hood, that takes a lot of effort because the glue that they used was actually not too bad. I mean, taking it off was a big chore, but the glue residue is not horrible. Actually, anywhere on the car, there is a little bit of schmutz on the trunk, but for the most part, taking off the vinyl, not horrible.
Vinyl's not horrible. Tinting headlights, don't do it. That was horrible. We've got one of the headlights done, and that was fun.
How long did that take?
It was almost an hour, I think, for this one, because you can't get it too hot, because then you damage the plastic underneath, and the threshold of the glue letting go and being too hot was like within 3 degrees, so
Yeah.
it was this incredibly long process, but we've got one of them looking really good.
So take a look at this. I mean, there's still a little bit of glue. This needs to be polished out. This is not a big deal. I think they probably sanded this, so this needs to be wet sanded and polished, and it's going to look brand new. Now, look at how clear this is and how light it is, and look at how dark this is. I don't know why anybody would tint their headlights, because you actually need light to come through. I mean, it's the Mr. Regular joke, I tinted my headlights so they work less. It really doesn't make any sense. And also, this is some sort of tint that's just really, really glued on, and when you try to take it off, it comes off in these microscopic chunks.
Well, you could show the floor right there. That is how it comes off.
It comes off like applesauce. It's just like, it's horrible. I know that you did that one, so it makes sense that I should do this one, but I feel like I'm a betting man today. Rock, paper, scissors. 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3.
All right.
Rock, paper, scissors. Okay. Okay.
Yay.
So, yeah, you win. You get to do it.
Oh. That's what we were winning?
I never established stakes. No, I'll do this one. That's fine. What we have to do for the rest of it is just take off the doors. And if you look over here, you'll see that the door panel, well, the door gap is horrendous. And that's not because this was in any sort of major crash. Yeah. So open this up, and this has a soft close feature, meaning that if you could do that, it should close. Yeah, it closes itself, but it still leaves a big gap. And that is because when they installed this just amazing wrap, they forgot to adjust these, the door strikers. All you have to do to adjust them is loosen these bolts and move this in slightly, and it takes all of 10 seconds, and they didn't do that, which is why I know that the people who did this have an insane attention to detail.
What's weird about their attention to detail is what trim panels they pulled to tuck the wrap into, and the ones they didn't. Like, the easy ones they didn't do, and then they pulled taillights, which are not easy to do on this car.
Yeah, so if you take a look over here, the taillights have wrap kind of behind them, which I don't know. I mean, maybe it's possible that they just tucked it in, but it's really, really in there. So we're gonna have to take off the interior trim, and on one side it's easy, on the other side there's like a subwoofer in the way, so that all has to come out, and then the taillights have to get loosened just so we can get in there and get all this out. But it could be the case that we take one taillight out and realize that they just tucked it in there, so I think we'll just start with this one. And there is a bit of bad news, because when I took all this out, I realized that this was a sort of shoddy paintwork mess. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera. This is a slightly different shade of white than this. This seems to be originally painted and the bumper was resprayed, because it looks like it was hit on this side. Not a major hit, not anything like that, but it was told to me that somebody in this car ran into something in the garage, which makes sense because right here on the mirror, there's a scuff mark. That's not a big deal, but down here, the paintwork is quite bad. They use self-tappers to put some chrome trim around here, and when I took it off, the trim just broke in 2 pieces, and I had to order that. That was $200. That's great. And right here you can see that the paint is cracked. It looks like they used some body filler, and it doesn't look very good. Now, you can't see this from 5 feet away. I'm not too concerned about that. So I think this bumper just could use a nice respray. But this needs to get chromed because it just has some nastiness in terms of paint. It is not plastic like I once thought. It's just really crappy paint. So I used some paint stripper, some aircraft paint remover, and we ended up getting this. This used to be all black, and now it is nice and chrome, and this is very, very clean. The same goes for the emblem, the hood ornament, which looks awesome. And I tried to do the grills, but I'm gonna have to go through in every one of these crevices and just clean everything out so it's nice and chrome, because the entire OEM chrome section front of this car, how much do you think it costs just to get all that chrome stuff?
Mercedes, $2,300.
It is $3,800.
All right.
$3,800 for a grill, this grill, and the 2 grills right there in chrome. $3,800.
Yeah, that, I mean, it's a percentage-wise of the cost of the car new. That's not a
lot,
deal.
but for me, that's a lot. So we're gonna try to just save everything we can, and maybe later we'll do an upgrade to the 2018 to 2020 body style, and that'll be a project for another day. Also, the wheels obviously aren't staying this color. I'm taking them off at some point and taking off the tires, and then doing a complete chrome. I think they're chrome, but they also might be like a polished silver, so I'm gonna see what I can do with those. I'm gonna take them over to Mike from Performance Coat, and we'll get them powder coated, because these are not painted with the same crappy paint. These are actually powder coated. I tried to use aircraft remover paint stripper on those, and nothing happened. It just didn't do anything, so these have to get professionally done. What else do I need to do on here? Oh, this actually needs to get painted in black or vinyl wrapped by a company that knows what they're doing, right?
That'll do a good job and tuck the edges. Like, again, where they tucked and didn't tuck, you can see moisture was underneath and lifting, and that can actually, when you get dirt, that can start scratching and create rust spots. So
yeah,
he wants the all black roof. I get it. It doesn't make any sense when everything else is black.
Yeah.
But
So I mean, you have black, 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 and this is actually painted from stock, and this has some clear coat damage, which this needs to get painted. So I'd rather just get this painted and have everything matching, and then have a white car. And that's not a Panda. A Panda would be like the entire top of the car would be white, and then the bottom would be black, or vice versa. Like, this is just like...
Well, a roof, again, normally it's hood, roof, and trunk, but I'm still going to call it your Panda car.
It's not a Panda car.
It's a Panda car.
just like that, all the wrap is off, and this thing looks like a different car. I didn't say new car, it's a different car, because when we took the wrap off, we realized that there's a few sort of blemishes, imperfections, and some things that definitely need addressing. But first impressions, what do you think?
A lot better. It looks sophisticated and mature, but also, you know, you can still have a good time.
Dude, this is hot. This is like really good. And I thought that I wouldn't like the black wheels with the white car. Honestly, I'm kind of rethinking that decision, because I've realized that I sort of like this motif. I have black wheels with white car there, and I have dark wheels with white car there. It sort of makes sense. So I might just leave those wheels the same color, because when I clean them up a little bit, they look not too bad. Like, it looks pretty good on the camera. You can't really tell because they're just so dark. But once they're cleaned up, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. But there are a few blemishes, right? It hasn't been smooth sailing.
No, we found a few things, and the wrap was hiding a lot. One, we finished detinting this headlight, and we found with its garage hit, they just hid the damage. So
well, I already knew about this damage. I knew that this was cracked, but I didn't know that it was this cracked. So
with a big chunk just filled in.
Oh yeah. So this is it just filled? Yeah, it is.
It's just filled.
Interesting. So there's a huge crack here and a bunch of really bad scratches.
One back here too.
Yeah. So it looks like it was just kind of hit in this general vicinity, and it scraped up a bunch of stuff because that door's been repainted all the way back to that back bumper. There's like touch-ups everywhere, and you can tell that they didn't use exactly the right materials or the prep work, because it just...
Yeah, not the right promoter. We did well, though, when you consider the 18 million square feet that make up this car.
Absolutely.
This is our only paint hole.
Yeah, so that came off, and that is not... I don't think that's stock. I don't think that's Mercedes OEM, but I think this is something that a body shop could figure out. Not a big deal.
One thing we fixed is that right there. You showed that horrible body line and giant air gap, and
well, I'm going to check the other side. Also, look at the back. I mean, it just looks great. Now, these are tinted taillights. They're slightly tinted. It's not super dark. I just didn't want to spend literally 5 hours detinting these, because I could probably just get a new set, or I could just get a set that is for the 2018, the facelift model, because I think I might be doing the face and... Is it still a facelift if it's at the back? Is it a butt lift? Is that a butt
it's the butt lift.
Okay, so we're gonna do a face and butt lift. Now, if you take a look over here, there's quite a bit of door gap. So we're gonna fix that real quick. I'm gonna show you how to do it. This striker right here, just take handy dandy socket and move it a little bit and just tighten it down. Let's see if it closes. Soft close, and oh yeah. Look at that panel gap. That is perfect. Dude, this is mighty fine. I mean, oh boy. That's
You getting a Dutch angle there for it?
That's a Dutch angle. Actually, we're really too much. That's too much. In the front, unfortunately, we have some issues, because when we took off all the nasty tint, that left a lot of nasty marks. So we will have to do some sanding and polishing. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep this, because maybe I'll do the front end. And there's a reason why I might do the front end, because this was also painted, and in order to take off the paint, I have to take this entire thing off, and in order to take this off, I need to take the entire bumper off, which is you know, pretty decently sized project, not something I want to tackle right now. And in addition, the trim here is broken, and I don't feel like fixing it, so I ordered a new one there. And also the trim here, I cleaned it up as best I could, but it's still a little bit hazy, and this has a ton of just nastiness where all the paint was. And this is after probably 2-3 hours of me just manhandling this with a brush, and it still looks like this. So this probably needs another hour or so into it, and then it can go back on the car. But I figure that I shouldn't just leave it like this. This needs like a full paint correction detail, right?
Yeah, it needs the polish. Anytime you pull this much glue off the paint, yeah, it's gonna leave so much residue where there's goo off and cleaners, and then polish and let it shine.
Yeah, so, what's that?
I'm collecting so we can see how big of a pile. Maybe you can jump in it like leaves.
I'm not gonna jump in this. This looks like it's gonna take over my body and make me do things I don't wanna do. On video, this is gonna be like, oh, it only took a few minutes. This was like 6 hours.
It was a little more than 6 hours because we actually started time break yesterday.
Yeah.
And I jumped in to help because we had planned to do some Wrench Everyday filming. And I'm like, oh, we'll button this up in the morning after breakfast and do Wrench Everyday filming.
That didn't happen.
And it's dark out, and it's time to go home, and the Wrench Everyday project's still there. So it takes a lot of time if you're doing it careful. You can leave little, you know, vinyl and cracks if you want, or you can do it right and take things apart, and it's worth it though, because it looks so much better.
Yes,
absolutely, so much better.
Yes, absolutely. And you guys let me know in the comments if you want me to keep this wheel color or not. Definitely it's going to be a little bit more glossy. You want to keep the wheel. Yeah, but you have like dark colored cars and...
Well, this is a light colored car, and the black will accent the carbon and the other black. It's the right amount to offset the chrome.
I sort of agree with you, but I do have one thing that I'm putting on this car, and I want to show all of you guys because I think you're going to really, really like it. In this car lies this. This is a steering wheel. If you look at it at this angle, it's a clown face, and now you can't unsee that. I'm going to de-clown face this car because I got a brand new steering wheel. My friends at CKM Car Design sent me, oh.
That doesn't look like a clown.
No, that we are de-clowning this car. So this is a carbon steering wheel. It has a white matching our white there, and I don't want any Alcantara or nothing like that. It's just white stitching on the perforated leather. Has a brand new airbag, and it's also stitched in the same way. And these are interesting because this is actually like a little, like a touchpad. So these are touchpads. You can go like up and down, left and right, and all that stuff.
So you can put God mode in?
Yes, you can, well, big head mode. If you take this out, see that it has some nice paddles in the back.
Do you currently have paddles?
I do, yeah, of course.
Are they big paddles?
I mean, they're around this same size, but you could get bigger paddles. They make like carbon fiber ones that come out to here. I don't really need that on this car.
Yeah, it's an automatic. It's not a dual clutch, so
it's pretty fast. It's actually it's faster than the ISF shifting, for sure.
Okay.
So, I mean...
how many more years newer and how many more hundreds of thousands of dollars was this?
Right. No, I'm not... I'm just saying that the ISF is a fast shifting automatic, right. Correct? Yes. And it has paddles, correct?
No. Right.
Yes, so what I'm saying is...
You don't have to use them. They're fun to have to make the noise.
No, you don't have to use them, but it's nice to have.
They're not there
Jared gets so offended when I say anything about the ISF. He's like, what are you trying to say? What are you trying to say, huh? Well, I mean, this is like a $200,000 car. My ISF was 12 grand because I got... No, okay.
And it has the same divorced exhaust pipe.
It's a very... Yeah, they're fakes, okay? They're not divorced. They're not Venturi effects. They're fake exhaust pipes.
They're having a fight. They couldn't stay together for the kids.
Mommy and Daddy are
divorced.
Fighting. That's true.
But this is going to look better.
I think that's going to look way better. So I think in the next episode...
Star mode?
Yes.
So that's invincibility.
Yes, that's invincibility.
That keeps you from getting pulled over?
And what happens when you get pulled over, you have to use this and call your lawyer because this car goes real fast. Also, I got a speeding ticket.
Speaking of the devil.
Yeah, speaking of the devil, I got a speeding ticket, and that is because of that right there. This car looked really, really suspicious, and I was just driving, and yeah, this car got pulled over real quick like that. And what's funny is Jared was driving right in front of me, and he had a truck that was very non-assuming, doing almost the same speed as me.
The exact same speed, and the cop was just kind of waved me down and told me to slow down.
And then he sees this thing and he's like, stop! All right, so next episode on this car, I have to put that in and then start the process of doing all of the maintenance on this car. So we have to do all the spark plugs. You'd think that would be easy, but not so much, because this has 24 of them, and the spark plugs are all iridiums, which are like $8 each. So that's several $100s in spark plugs. Then you have the air filters, the fuel filters, all the fluid changes, because you have hydraulic fluid in the suspension system. The brakes, I got new brakes because
those are lipped and worn out.
Yeah, those brakes are real bad. Then I don't know if I'm going to be doing these tires or not, these wheels rather. I don't know if I'm going to be doing a different color, so you guys let me know in the comments. But we have to do something about this front, just like lip area, this grill, this headlight situation. All of that has to get sorted, and I have to wait for my detailer to get here, because if I detail this car without him, he's going to be very, very mad.
Probably because we might make it worse.
We're definitely going to make it worse. So I definitely want Rex on hand to tell me what I'm doing wrong. Actually, you know what? One thing that is left on this car before I... Yep. So hold this. So actually, you know what? You do the honors.
No, you do it. I'm not going to take that. You worked very hard. You hand polished your knob.
I polished my knob. This used to be black and just all disgusting, and now it is stock. So we put that in there, and then we gotta. You know, it's usually easier when you don't have a camera pointing at it.
That's everything we do.
That's everything we do. Okay. And
Okay.
now we're okay. Make sure no
Yeah,
phones are.
Phones, tools left. No. Okay.
No.
This isn't soft close, is it?
No. There we go.
There.
Oh, dude. It looks like a taxi now. Woo! Looks like a German taxi. Dude, this looks really good. I am thoroughly impressed. And fix the panel gap here, so the panel gap here is the same here, and it's not just this giant monstrous mess. Man, I can't believe this is my car. All right, so you can obviously see that we are running on empty. Thank you, Jared. I have my garage door open because this thing is gonna get a full wash and detail, and we're gonna make this full daily driver spec, because when we took off everything, it was a big transformation, but there still were a lot of issues with it. It needs to have the headlights wet sanded and polished, and the entire car needs a polish, and also I need to do something about those wheels. Not sure if I'm gonna change the color or not, but when I talk about the stuff we're gonna do, and when I say we, I don't really mean me. I mean me and the help of somebody else. And you guys know him from a lot of my other videos. This is Rex.
What's up, guys? I'm back.
Yes, well, Rex is back. And Rex is the best detailer I know. I don't exactly know a lot of detailers, but
Okay.
You're the best one.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
out of like 3, you're number 1, man.
Thanks, man.
So what are we gonna do on this car right now to get it, you know, looking a little bit better? Because it needs, you know, it has some overspray from some paint work, and it just needs a lot.
Yep. So we'll start by washing it, and then we're gonna decon it, clean the wheels, then polish it, then maybe ceramic coat it.
Okay.
We gotta do the headlight too, so we gotta wet sand that too.
Oh yeah, I think so. And I know I probably didn't mention this to you, but we gotta do something about that interior, because
it's still an amazing interior.
I know it's a really nice interior, but I think it could be even nicer, because, well, when I'm working and then I get in the car, I don't exactly wipe off anything on my body, so that needs to all kind
We'll
of come out.
ceramic coat the leather too.
Wait, can you ceramic coat leather? Is that
Yep.
actually a thing?
Yep. They actually have a ceramic coating for it. It helps for cleaning it too.
And it can move with the leather and stuff?
Yeah. Yep. It's a breathable coating, so
I don't know if you're lying to me right now.
I'm not.
You sure?
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
that sounds like you're about to sell me the undercoating on a new car.
No. We'll just put a leather coating on it.
Okay, all right, sounds good. So let's get this car out of here and into the sunlight. Whenever you wash a car, you definitely want to do it in direct sunlight,
Yes,
right?
perfect. Yes.
And we are done. This is completely sorted and dialed in, except for none of that's true. So this has just been cleaned and it looks really, really good. And Rex has been telling me that maybe it was polished or something before they put the wrap on, because it's cleaning up kind of very, very nicely.
It does. We try to iron decontaminate it, and there's no iron particles on the paint, so we're guessing that they probably decon the car first.
With alcohol or something?
Yeah, before they wrap the car with the previous wrap. So now we're just gonna be claying it. It got really hot outside, and my beautiful skin, I gotta take care of it. So I decided I'm gonna start claying it inside. But before then, I'm gonna wet sand the headlights. And then after that, I'm gonna start claying it. That way I could just polish through the whole car, and I don't have to wet sand it anymore.
So I have another concern. So I see that you've already started masking this off. This is not a step I would have taken. I would have just went straight into the paint. So it's good that I'm not doing this. Over here on the carbon fiber mirror, you can see that there's some scuff marks here. How can you get these off?
It actually looked like the clear coat is gone on that part, but I could be wrong.
And you can see that there's a little, they definitely hit something blue.
Yep, so there's paint transfer there. So we'll try by compounding. If it doesn't, we'll wet sand it with the 3000 grit and then polish it. But we got to tape around it like what we're doing here. Okay. That way that if you're wet sanding, you're not hitting the paint with the wet sandpaper. Okay.
Cool. What do you think about these wheels now that they're clean?
I actually like them. It looks more aggressive this way than if you were to put a silver.
I think you're right. I actually do like this quite a bit, especially with the carbon fiber. It just accents it very, very well. Yep. Also right here, this is where all the radar guided cruise control stuff is, and you can see it's just like,
it's glue, right?
I think this is glue. Yeah. I'm not sure.
We'll play with it. We'll wet sand it too and polish it. See if it comes back.
Okay, cool.
So stay tuned, guys.
All right.
What is he doing, man?
Jared, what are you doing? Quiet on the set.
Filming Wrench.
He's always breaking stuff in here.
Yeah.
Busy working.
Jared's filming Wrench every day. I'll join you in a second.
Okay.
I have many hats.
It's a little wiggly.
It's a little wiggly?
It's a little wiggly.
Okay. Nobody knows what you're talking about, Jared, but it's gonna be funny. Well, okay, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but Rex did a little bit of a before and after. That's before, and that's after. That looks like brand new, but even then, there's still a little bit of imperfection. So, what'd you find?
Well, so far I've seen like a lot of plastic that was melted from the heat gun. So, I mean, the only way to line that up is to probably go 400 grit, and then you have to go 1000 and then just spray a clear coat on the headlight.
Yeah, you're talking about like right here somewhere?
Yes, sir. Right here. And you see some up here too. So, but since you're replacing this anyways, I decided to just go with the 2000 grit and make it look, clear and brand new again.
Yeah, this, I mean, you're not going to be able to tell anything from, unless you're literally this close away. So I'm not too concerned about this. And, well, also because this one is like cracked like crazy. So I'm not too worried about these headlights. They're going to look good, at least a lot better than they are here. So
for sure.
Well, I mean, how long did this process take?
About 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a pretty easy process. You just have to sand it down.
Yep.
Make sure you're wet sanding, right?
Yep. Make sure you're wet sanding. Use as much lubricant as you can. Much water, basically. Okay. And then start with like 2000. Finish it with 3000 and then compound it. And use polish after that.
Would you like me to put the AC like so it blows by you? Because you're a little...
It's
it's a little hot. What? I mean, I have air conditioning here.
2 years ago we didn't have AC in here.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, we do now, so we can.
I can't really complain,
All right. Okay. So you continue doing this. I'll do the AC stuff. I don't know.
All right.
Just come on. We can do better than this. We can do better than this. So I know it doesn't look like it on camera, but this thing looks better than new. Other than a few places over here, which we will touch up. But Rex has been very, very, very hard at work for the last several days on this car, cleaning it, polishing it, and doing a bunch of stuff that I am not qualified to talk about. So I'm just gonna ask him, what were the steps that you took to make this car look as good as it is?
Well, first off, we washed it, and then we clayed and deconned the whole car. And then from there on, we went and cut the paint a little bit and polished it. But what I've noticed is half of the car has been repainted.
What?
Yeah. As I was going through it with my polisher, I noticed that this side of the car, the whole passenger side, has been repainted, and the rear bumper too.
Oh, okay. So that's great.
That's a great thing, yes.
Well, they told me that it was hit up there, so apparently it was hit up there and then it went.
Yeah, definitely.
So they repainted. I mean, it doesn't look horrible.
It doesn't look bad. It actually matches really good.
Oh, okay. I mean, that doesn't match very good. Oh, dude.
It polished up.
Yeah, you cleaned up that carbon really, really well. I mean, it was scuffed up, and now it looks almost new.
For sure.
Dude, this is crazy.
The whole car it came out really nice. I mean, we got rid of all the glue that was stuck on there.
Oh yeah, there was a ton of glue.
And there was a lot of overspray, especially that one over here on this side.
There's overspray on this side.
Yeah.
So they're spraying on that side, and then they're like, shh.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So this was done at a professional body shop.
The headlight too and the grill. We did wet sand this and polish it too. It looked like crap before.
Yeah, so this is the sensor for the radar guided cruise control, and the sensor is actually underneath there. And this is like a almost transparent acrylic or plastic, and this was just really bad. So it was wet sanded, and now it looks great. Now this car does have some miles on it, has some rock chips. There's some pitting here in the chrome. I'm not worried about that because this is going to be a daily driver after all. But I think I'm going to have to take off this front bumper and take this grill off, and that's going to be a bit of a chore because the headlights have to come out and the grill has to come out, and there's like a billion different wiring harnesses in there. But before I do that, we should probably look at the interior, right?
Yes, sir. The best part.
That is the best part of a S-Class because, I mean, that's where you spend all the time.
Yes.
And let's take a look. So, can this light come on? You have like a fancy light up here. All right. There we go. So, this seat is not in horrible shape. It's just, minor bolster wear, that sort of thing. But Rex has also told me that they have dyed the seat, which is not like super uncommon with cars like this. Usually you take it to an upholstery shop and they have some wear on it like this. This is real leather, so they'll put some dye on it, and when you try to clean it, it comes off sometimes, right?
Yep, with the leather cleaner. So
what can we do about that?
Nothing really. We could either re-dye it and then coat on top of it. I was thinking about ceramic coating the seat since it's white and you wrench every day.
Okay, yeah. Well, do you think that I get dirty and dirty plus these seats would be a not good situation?
What we'll do is we'll put a ceramic coating on the seat. The coating that we're gonna use is very breathable for leather.
Yeah.
It'll help with like water resistance and chemical resistance.
Okay.
And it'll be just easier to clean it all in all. So we'll do that.
People are gonna get on you for wearing a chin diaper.
I don't want to.
They're like, what's the
get sick?
Well, no, he's wearing a mask, for COVID when he goes outside, but also because when he works on the inside of cars, there's not a ton of ventilation, so that is 100% necessary.
So you spraying chemicals, I'm basically breathing it back in. I mean, not like your underwear can stop your fart from coming out.
Yeah,
it kind of helps.
It's the first line of defense. right, now that Rex is done, I really want to see the finished product on the interior. Oh man, this looks brand new. I mean, when these things were 250 grand, they looked great. But this one looks even better because it's way, way, way less than that. Take a look at the back seat. Whoo! Oh, wow. Now, this wasn't in horrible shape, but it definitely was a bit on the rough side. One thing I do have to do, however, is these. I don't know how to get these to sit back up. These are supposed to be on this elastic band, and the elastic band seems to have broken on both of them, and maybe that's a common problem. I don't know. I don't really care. I'm not going to be sitting back here because this, after all, is a driver's car. And one of the big things about driver's cars is steering wheels. So let's make sure that this steering wheel looks like something from a driver's car and not from a circus. That's a clown face. That's a clown face, guys. All right, don't count this as a how-to or anything because I'm probably going to be missing steps. I don't know actually how to take this off, but I can't imagine that it is that much harder than any other car. Now, a steering wheel usually has some kind of secret bolts back here. You want to feel around for, okay, yes, I feel some holes, and you usually want to poke with a small screwdriver, something like that. One, and two. Very carefully remove the airbag, and that is the airbag out. Ah, perfect. Perfect. And take this out. Okay, now let's throw this away, shall we? What I have is very, very, very special. This is a brand new 2018 and up steering wheel from CKM Car Design. Go check them out in the link in the video description below. Also check out their YouTube channel. They do a lot of really cool DIY stuff on Mercedes just like this. I think the owner has a S63 almost exactly like mine, and he's doing a lot of really cool, really custom stuff. But he sent me over this awesome, awesome steering wheel, and it is a carbon fiber wheel. It matches the carbon fiber here. This matches my white exterior, and it just looks so much better. And we also remove the clown face because that, you can't unsee that. So we take the airbag out, just put it down because it is, for all intents and purposes, a bomb. And then we line this up as best we can. Just like so. This also comes with a little converter because obviously the 2018 has different buttons than the 2015 does. So it comes with its own converter. All the wiring is already completed. All you have to do is connect this like so. Boom. So this should pop into place. Boom, boom. Boom, and boom. Okay, so there is one step that I was sort of dreading, but it's really not that bad. So this is a different airbag. Anytime you take off an airbag from a car, it can lead to a stored event where it has a error code. And in this case, my car had an error code when I connected the battery because it has an auxiliary battery that kind of remembers all the settings. When I pressed the start button, it told me that I had an error in the airbag light, but that's okay because I do have the dealer level software and I just reset it. So I went to the SRS supplemental restraint system right up here. You can't see that because it's super blurry, and I just went to error codes and I reset it, and now we have no error codes. So that means if I press the start button, oh yeah, that is awesome. Now Everything is on. This looks fantastic. I mean, it really looks the business. And what's even better is that I can control everything from here just like I would a 2018. So there's no loss in functionality. The only thing that doesn't work is this is the cruise control, which you usually use this stalk back here, which is not a big deal. And I'm sure that I can get this working at some point. It just needs to be coded out. But what's really cool are these. These are touch sensors. They're like little touch pads, and you can just gesture up and down. See how that works. Press in, and we have our AMG panel there. Super cool. This is exactly what this car needed. And there are upgrades even to this. So you have this steering wheel. You can make it in whatever design you want, whatever color you want. And you can even have like little shift lights up here. I didn't want those because I think that's a little too much going on. There's already so much going on here that I didn't want to clutter it up even more. But I mean, now this car looks like it's brand new. And we took off that nasty vinyl wrap, and this was polished a little bit. There are a few scratches, but this is nice piano black. But we're not done in the interior just yet. I have one last finishing touch to do. And oh yes, that is an interior, ladies and gentlemen. This is next level. I know I say that a lot, but this flat bottom carbon fiber steering wheel just makes this look the business. It looks absolutely OEM, and we have some OEM floor mats. I had to get those shipped over from Germany or Lithuania or wherever the listing said it was, but this is completely done as far as detailing. The seats look great, the center console looks great, all the leather looks great, all the carbon fiber and all the trim looks great. And even in the back here, where sort of the business end is, and I know the seats are a little bit cattywampus, I'm not worried about that. This looks amazing. Now here, the elastic, I do need to do something about that. I mentioned that, it's not a big deal. Last but not least is the front end. And the front end was something that I've been dreading to do, and I think I've come up with a solution, and that is just to fix the front end once and for all by buying a new one. So I bought a new front end, and that is on its way. It's gonna get here in a few weeks. It actually had to come from overseas. So the front end is gonna look like this. It's basically going to be a final edition S65, and it's going to look and feel like a 2020 model, even though this is a 2015 and it cost about $200,000 less. But there are a few things that we can do with this. Obviously the trim is missing, and right here you can see that, well, some of the trim is peeling, but I'm not going to worry about that too much, because in order to get all of this out, like this is supposed to be chrome, but in order to get it out, I have to take off the bumper. I don't really feel like doing that because I don't think we're going to get all this black off, and I'm not sure that the chrome is going to look very good. So we're going to leave this right here, and we're going to replace this one piece, which is chrome, with the stock piece that fell off my car. So here's a funny story. When I got this car, when it was still wrapped in its nasty black wrap, it had that chrome piece on the bottom, which was wrapped in matte black vinyl. Now, when I was driving to the shop one day, I heard a crunch. And then I realized that it was me running over this piece. To be honest, all that happened were these little scratches and this crack right here. And if we offer this up to the car, you'll see it still fits pretty darn well. And honestly, you can't tell that it's damaged from this side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to secure it in place. Maybe I'll use some double-sided tape for now, and then make sure that all the mounting tabs are where they're supposed to be, because for some reason this just wasn't mounted correctly. And then I'm gonna go into the side panels and figure out what I'm gonna do there. Maybe I'll just have them be chrome because I had to clean all this up, but they also do kind of look good in black and just have some chrome accents. I don't know, but I'm gonna try them a few different ways, and then we're gonna see what the final result is. Ladies and gentlemen, this car is done. Well, as done as it's gonna be for a little while. This is, for all intents and purposes, done in a very temporary sense because I am getting new bumpers, and to be honest, if you look very, very closely, you can see that, well, some of the bodywork needs a little bit more bodywork. But from here, from about 5 feet away, this thing looks fantastic. I mean, the color, the contrast of the carbon fiber on the white, carbon fiber over here, we have chrome over here, we have chrome accents in the front, and I like how the chrome accents the white and the black. It just all fits together in one perfect little package, and I can't believe this is my car. So let's talk about if I got a good deal on this car or not. I certainly think I got a good deal because, I mean, just look at it. But we still have to tally up everything and then realize that I probably spent way more than I thought I did. So the initial purchase price was $64,000, which is a lot of money, but not for this car. Usually they go between $75,000 and $80,000 for something of this condition. Now the mileage was a little bit higher than what you'd usually see. This has about 75,000 miles. Usually they're between 35,000 and 50,000 miles, but mileage isn't anything. It's like just a number to that engine. That engine can run forever. So when I got the car, it was in really bad shape cosmetically, but it was in really good shape mechanically. I didn't need to worry about a lot of things like oil leaks or anything like that, but I do have to do things like brakes and just maintenance items, maybe bushings, maybe seals, definitely an oil change, definitely spark plugs, but that's honestly just general maintenance. And we're gonna get to all those numbers later, but just to get this into showroom condition, which was told to me that the car was in when I got it, which was obviously not true. Here's what we had to do. So we had to do a complete decontamination of the car. We had to do a polish of the car. We had to do a lot of sort of claying and wet sanding because this car had a lot of overspray. I mean, it's sprayed over there, it's sprayed over here, there's overspray up and down the car, but that comes at a price because that entire job, which a dealership usually wouldn't do, they wouldn't do a days-long process like this. This would have cost about $1,000 to $1,500, actually more because we ceramic coated this entire car outside and in. So let's call this a $2,000 job, and it's looking exactly like this. But that's not all, because I did have to get some panels over here. Some of them were broken and I had to fix some mounting tabs. So this was about $400 to fix, and it's still not perfect. I would definitely tell somebody if I was trying to sell this car, I would disclose to them that, well, it looks okay from 5 feet away, but there are some imperfections down there if you really want to look hard, and there's also some cracking on the headlight. So I would fix that. If I was a dealer, I would get another headlight, which is another $2,000, and I would try to fix all of this trim, which is probably another $1,400. But I only spent $400 to get it looking like this, and I think it's pretty snazzy. However, I wanted to make this look even better, so I got those 2018 facelift front and rear. I got taillights, headlights, and the bumpers, which were a pretty penny. They were around $5,000 for everything. Actually, a little bit more than $5,000. But I think that's gonna make this thing look brand new, because this is based on a car that was $250,000 when it was new. This entire side of the car had some really, really bad bodywork. Now,
Usually body work is very, very expensive, especially on a very expensive car like this. But I had the foresight to hire a guy to do all my body work because I'm going broke. These cars are making me go broke. I have no money. I hired my friend Jack, who have you seen in previous videos?
Hi.
Hi. Hi, Jack.
Don't say that on a plane.
Okay. Jack was busy off camera doing this. He removed all the paint, and boy howdy was it bad. So I thought we could just put a skim of Bondo or filler or just do a little metal work, and Jack said no because Jack is a professional. And what can we actually do with these doors now?
We could probably just hang them on the wall as art.
Art.
Yeah?
You're gonna hang doors on the wall as art?
That's what they're good for now.
Oh, okay.
All right, so let's begin. This car has been completely stripped, at least the doors have, to the bare metal, and these doors are aluminum and not steel, which is why they're not rusting. It looks kind of cool, but what doesn't look cool is the fact that they have a ton of damage. Now, Jack is here to tell us exactly how much damage is on these doors and the rest of the car, because we haven't gotten to that yet.
So in the last video, we pointed out that it had a bit of primer showing from where we pulled the wrap off, right? But as I started sanding, I sanded here, I found filler, and then I sanded here and I found filler, and I kept going, and eventually I got through the whole door, and the entire door was coated with filler from top to bottom, and even up here, all of this was filler.
And why is that bad, Jack?
Because essentially you're making a door skin out of filler. So,
so this door has lots of waves and dents, and then they just put this skim coat to make it look kind of sort of like all those dents and stuff weren't there. But that's not the right way to do it, because if something happens, if you get a dent, or if you get anything on that really crappy paint that just came off, then you have to repair it, and then you have to repair all of this. Now, I thought, hey, we could probably repair it because I thought it was localized to this, but it turns out it's a lot more than that, right?
yeah, it was really bad. That was just the front door. The back door you can actually still see on the very edge, again, from end to end, all the way back here, you can still see where they put filler over the old paint, and then their primer, and then you got your paint here. But it was even into the door handle area up here. And I'm suspecting that we're gonna find quite a bit in this area. So
the quarter panel is something that I didn't want to go into too much, but I feel like we have to make this a quality repair, because let's say we fix the doors and that's all good. The quarter panel is still gonna be garbage with who knows how much filler and who knows how much body work. It could be less than we think, but what do you think?
I'm really hoping it's less. But from the front fender all the way back to here, it's not showing signs of being good. It's going to be something probably where we take it back and it's got holes like the doors maybe.
People looking at this, they're gonna go, this isn't that bad. I've seen way worse. It's not even dented that poorly. We're gonna actually show you how bad it is. So you got a straight edge?
I got it. Let me grab that real quick.
All right.
So this is the worst part of the door here, which is not that bad, but if you look at how it sticks in right here, it actually comes out and then goes, you have a gap here. So what the door is doing is it's coming in across the door really wide, so that when it sits flat. But if I do this, you can see that's how much movement I have from where the door is in the center. They do have a slight bow to them, but not that bad. Definitely not that bad, especially right here. It would be more towards the center of the door where you would have that little bit of rounded kind of curve.
And even here, where the worst part is. I mean, that's you can almost stick a finger in there. What the other body shop did is they made holes in here and then they pulled it out, which you can do with aluminum, but you have to do something after this, and that is weld the holes shut. And did they do that?
No, so when we started tearing the car down, I was like, man, I can see something that looks kind of funny in here. So we got out the borescope and I put the borescope behind the window and I see something called wormholes, which is where when you have body filler squeezing through holes, it looks like worms poking out of the hole.
Okay, so let's see what that looks like.
Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah, and also fold space-time so you can make jumps to different galaxies.
Yeah.
Wormholes. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
There's black holes in there too.
Okay.
Those are the holes made, and you see those little nuggets right there? That's Bondo. That's filler that's just made its way into the inside of the door, and it hasn't been sealed or anything like that. It's just hanging out in there.
Is that the correct way to do things?
Yeah, if you want to make it leave on Friday.
It's Thursday morning. Yeah. This thing has to leave by Friday, and I'm getting paid $55 for today.
It's gotta go.
It's gotta go.
Yeah, no, that's one of the laziest things that you can do, and it's not a difficult repair. If they would have taken the door apart all the way and done this properly, it probably would have only taken them a few extra hours to do the right job, but they kind of just were trying to knock it out quick and get it through. But yeah, so now because of that, and then how bad the damage is across the whole door, we have to replace this door for this to be right.
And if we're replacing that door, it doesn't make sense to not replace this door because it has just as much damage. I mean, it doesn't have the holes in the door, but it's also very wavy.
Oh, it has holes.
Oh, yeah. There's holes?
It's got some holes here. It's got some holes here.
Oh, nice.
Same thing, so.
Okay. So, rear door and front door. Can you wager a guess as to how much they cost?
Probably $1,000, maybe.
$1,000 for both?
Yeah, right?
Okay. This one is about $1,500, and that one is $1,800.
You know how much it costs to do the car?
How much?
10 to 15.
10 to 15,000? Yeah, just 10 to 15 for everything. So this is more than $3,000 just in door skins, and I don't know if this is going to be any worse. You want to find out if it's any worse?
Yeah, let's get the tools.
You got the tools?
Yeah. I'm guessing this has not got too much filler in that area.
How do you know? Like, what are you
Just like the
listening for?
sound, kind of more hollow sound. Like it sounds way more dense down here. But that could be because there's like a foam or something that's holding this here, but I'm guessing that it's right around here is pretty thick. So
Yay!
let's find out.
Okay, so what tool do we have here?
I got this from Harbor Freight. It's like a just a drum stripper, I guess is what they call them. And it just essentially is quick to remove Bondo and paint. So
Yeah, it did a really good job with this, but can you explain to people how much dust this car had just on these two doors?
I've never seen that much dust from two doors. Like it was as much dust as if you were to strip a whole original paint job from two doors.
The shop is still, like, every single one of my cars is filthy just because of these two doors, and the shop, I mean, all that dust is from that. Like, it's crazy.
There was something else that we're gonna have that made a little bit of that dust.
Maybe.
Something. Shh. All right, let's get started.
Yep.
Let's see what we got here. Ooh, it's already pretty thick.
Huh.
Yeah, see? It's gonna stop right about there, I'm thinking. Hey, I think we found the end.
All right, so it's only about a foot of Bondo. Okay, wonderful. You're nice and clean, dude. Hold on, let me get. There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Look how thick that is. Yeah, I want to do something actually really quick, just to show the thickness of this.
Uh-huh.
Let me see if I can get it to like kind of like level off. Yeah, that's pretty thick. I mean, like that's
That's not good.
Let's see if it stops up here. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's just keep going.
Keep going.
We've already opened that can of worms.
In for a penny, in for a $1,000 door.
Yeah. There's no going back now.
Nope.
So
You can't put this back?
I could, but
Yeah, can you put like water or something on the stuff you took off and then like put it back? Is that how Bondo works?
I think that's how they did it.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Oh my goodness.
All right, so here's an idea. Maybe we should put on a mask.
Why? Am I breathing in dust right now? Is there dust?
Not now, but maybe later you will.
There's your holes.
There's some holes right there.
Yeah.
Right at the body line.
Yeah, they tried to pull the body line, get it to come out a little bit, and it just wasn't moving probably. So it looks like they might have used a aluminum puller, but they had the settings wrong. So when they went to pull, the keys just pulled the metal right with it. So let's keep going.
Okay, so are we done?
I think so. As far as I can tell, we've got the majority of the filler that was in this section. You can see where the primer starts having just old paint underneath it, and same thing here. You can see like slightly, like there's a little bit of glazing putty, and then primer, and yeah, so I think we have most of it in this section.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad do you think this is?
I'd say it's probably like a 6, maybe a 7. It's not, maybe even 7 is kind of pushing it, but I'd say 6. I'd give it a 6.
This arch was all pulled, and you guys can't feel it at home, but it's rigid like this. It's just like wherever they pulled it, and then to mask that, they just put a ton of filler on.
Yeah, they didn't have the ability, skill level wise, they probably weren't there, and they tried to do it, and they weren't getting a good result, so their immediate reaction is to just put filler on it, and even their filler work really wasn't that good, so
it was still wavy and you could see it from a mile away.
Yeah, exactly. It just someone that wasn't that skilled, and you know, a little above their pay grade, so.
Not like you. I mean, look at the skill you're leaving on my floor. Look at all that skill.
I think that's okay.
Okay.
Seems like it's...
So that hasn't been touched.
Yeah, it seems like that's okay. Like that might be solid. So it's just pretty much this section through here. So they bounced in that section. So they went around this one piece right here.
So what do you think happened to this car? Because it hit there, underneath the bumper, and then it went bam, 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 bam.
Something minor, like minor. But so usually when you get hit by a car, it's going to be pretty bad all the way down the side. You're going to get a lot more damage than this. This looks like they hit something maybe in their garage even and just dragged it down the side. So
yeah, okay.
That's possibly what it was.
Okay, that sounds fine. Or maybe hit another stationary car in the garage.
Yeah, that could have been a stationary car for sure, definitely. If it was moving, I think it would have caused a lot more damage.
Okay. All right, so not the worst thing in the world, but not the best thing if you want a OEM Mercedes quality product. And Mercedes, actually, they're really good about their panel gaps and fitment. So if you ever see a Mercedes where the fitment's not great, then there's probably a reason for that.
Yeah, someone's been there before.
Yep.
Yeah, because they're pretty tight. Every gap on Mercedes is pretty even all the way from front to back, you know, top to bottom. They line up really, really well. German cars tend to line up really well. Yeah. So.
And speaking of lining up well, this front end also is missing a body line here. So I wanted to see, you want to...
Yeah.
I mean, you want to...
Hold on.
What's she saying?
No, I didn't say See, it's very thin, so it's not too bad right there. I'm suspecting what happened is it hit right here, and this part was repaired, and then it kind of missed and then caught back up here again. So I'm gonna do a quick little thing here just to see if I see anything there.
There we go.
Oh gosh. So yeah, it looks like it's probably got a skim coat all the way down it then. At least it's not as thick as this. Probably the reason why it's not as thick is because they could get a dolly or something behind there and do a little bit of hammer work. But
okay.
Yeah, might as well keep going and see what else we got.
Moral of the story is, if you find one of these cars, or any car that is way cheaper than it should be, it's for a reason, right?
Absolutely.
And you could drive this car around like it was and pretend like nothing was wrong, but then it looks like garbage. It just looks like poo. So if you want it done right, then you have to spend a lot of time and a lot of money. You have to hire your own jack.
Yes.
He's not for he's mine. He's mine. Now this is down to the metal. And how does it look?
As good as the rest of the car.
Wonderful, wonderful. So this used to be all one color, and now it's not anymore. This is scary. Also, what if we just made this bare aluminum? Like this whole car bare aluminum. And we could brush it, and it could look like a DeLorean. Dude, why don't we do that?
That would be cool.
Can you tell people why that wouldn't be cool? Because there are some people that say, oh, just leave it like that or clear coat it. So tell them why you can't do that.
It does take a long time for this metal to corrode. It doesn't rust like steel, but it corrodes and gets like oxidized. You get white, like powdery substance on it, and it just will fail over time. So even if you try to clear coat over it, it's going to have an issue. The metal is treated when you see those brushed metals and the way that they look like the DeLorean. So it's treated so that it's not going to corrode.
Well, the DeLorean is also stainless steel, not aluminum.
Yeah, that's true.
Right here, we see that you said that there's a little bit of a split right there.
Yeah, it looks kind of like it's got a split in it.
Yeah, it does.
I didn't grind it out, but this is like super thick right here on the edge, which is kind of concerning. But everything you see that is stripped had body filler, except for this region right here, and which is really weird because if you feel across, actually this did have some body filler like right up into this section right here, but it was like right through here where it barely had any. But if you feel across it, it's not that bad to need that much body filler. I think what ended up happening here is you had a guy who was an amateur, did not know anything about what he was doing, and he was like, guys, I can do body work. And the shop that hired him was like, you're hired. And he started doing body work and he learned on this car.
Okay, yeah. So it's basically like I did this.
Yeah, exactly. This is not good. I mean, I think I could coach you to do a little better than this, but this was bad.
A fender costs around $800 because again, it's aluminum and it's a Mercedes S-Class, which is the big boy with the 3 LED strips. So the doors are $3,000, and I know that because they're right here. So the last episode, we were unboxing things, and in this episode, guess what we're gonna do? I got some brand new parts from Mercedes. It says part of Mercedes-Benz genuine parts. Part of your success. That's like a fortune cookie. It's like a cooking show, so we got another one here. And we already opened this one up just to make sure it wasn't too dented. This is the rear one. And a good thing about aluminum doors is that they don't weigh nothing.
Yeah, look at that.
So with the straight edge, yeah.
That's like perfectly level. A little bit of space right there, not much. That body line actually has a slight, radius to it, which is good. That's where it's supposed to be. Same thing here, has a little bit more of a radius. As you come down here, it gets a little deeper as it goes to this body line. Let's take a look at the other one.
Yeah.
That's a radius on the other door. That's not.
That's a radius, and then there's extra space in here, and
so So you go, and then as we go down here, there's a little bit of a gap there. It goes all the way to here. You can. Keeps going. You can see it gets a little bigger. On the other door, it was moving. Like at that point, it was moving back and forth pretty good.
Yeah, so this is all just basically in.
Yeah, the biggest point is right here, and if you look down the side of the car, you can see right here is like really far in. Like that's a pretty big difference right there from the other door. The other door had a little bit of radius, but not much.
Now, another reason why I got 2 brand new doors is because they're already primed and ready. Yep, is this a little, what is this?
That's just from rubbing against in the box.
Okay.
Just chips it away.
Okay, so this is already essentially ready to be painted, just need to be scuffed, right?
Yeah, clean it, scuff it, seal it, base coat, clear coat.
Okay, so we have this, and then we should open up this guy right here. Make sure there's no crazy dents or anything, right?
Here, we'll put it on this large box over here.
Yeah, that nobody knows what it's for yet.
That looks pretty good.
Well, it should be pretty good. It's new.
Yeah.
If it wasn't good, that would be a problem.
Right there, it's a little more flat. Doesn't move as much. Same thing right here. It's got a little bit of radius. Take a look at this one. So this one actually has like a gap here. There's no radius at all. It's perfectly flat. So this line has been hit and pushed in this way. So then we come here, and as we go down,
yeah, that's
you
just
see it just flops all around.
Yeah,
right there.
Gaps everywhere.
Yeah, it's got a giant dent there. Down here at the bottom, it's like very shallow, but it goes all the way across. See how it's high right there? That's where they attempted to like knock the metal out, and it's just now doing this. That's so. The problem with that is aluminum is really hard to work with, and if you go to repair this, you're gonna end up having to get this to shrink. So it's really difficult to get aluminum to move. You need a lot of heat, and you got to be very patient with it. So this person wasn't patient. They just kind of pounded it out and tried to make it work. And what they did was they ended up stretching it because they tried to get this part right here to pull out. And if you notice, that's where all the holes are. So it's not like they didn't get it to pull. I guarantee you what ended up happening here is they pulled the metal and they overstretched it really bad. They put some body filler on it. As they sanded it, it was probably oil canning, which is where the metal is very weak and it just pops in and out.
Yeah, it goes.
Yeah, oil can.
Like an oil can.
Yeah, so when they did that right there, that probably caused so many more high spots than they could have ever taken care of. So it just made way more work, and it essentially destroyed the metal. Okay,
so we have $3,000 in doors. We have $800 in a fender, and those are brand new from Mercedes. There's going to be some work over here. If this was going to a body shop, realistically, how much would it cost? Was it that $10,000 to $15,000 figure?
Man, honestly, most shops, when they're getting back into people's work, they're going to charge double because they're going to say, oh, well, I need to repair what they did, which that was what would have to happen here. You see all these holes would have to be repaired. You still have damage here. You still got damage in the other areas. But what's going to end up happening is they're going to say, well, because of that, I have to do corrective repair, which costs more. It always costs more when you got to get it done twice.
Yeah.
So this would probably cost somewhere close to $10,000. I would, if I had to guess, if it wasn't with the bumpers, like if we weren't painting bumpers or anything like that, and it was just the side of the car, I would say around like $6,000 to $7,000. But because the bumpers are getting painted, it's probably $8,000 to $10,000.
Okay.
So.
All right. So it's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
It's a good thing I hired you.
I'm cheap.
Okay, so I have some ordering in front of me, and then we have some body work to go. I just wanted to give you guys an update of what's going on in this Mercedes. It did take a while to get those doors, and it's probably going to take a little while to get that fender. So as soon as I get that fender, and as soon as we get that body work done, and yes, we both will be doing some of the body work. We're going to get this over to the paint shop, and then we're going to do something with the wheels and maybe with the whole motif of the car, and it's going to be looking very, very good. Right now, we are looking at a car that just came back from the paint shop, and this did have a lot of work done to it. Not by me, because I was out filming Car Trek, and while I was filming, somebody was doing the work, weren't they?
Listen, you hired me to do this, so you can't just put me in this place and say, here's a bunch of cars, don't work on them.
Jack was a very, very busy boy, and he did a lot of work to this car. Now, we got a new fender and new doors on that side, but even then, the car still needed a lot of work, right?
It was pretty bad, but then we discovered more on top of that, and that was the beginning of it, and then we saw the worst of it.
Yeah, but right now the car is painted and it is looking fantastic, and I want to show you that entire process because there is a lot of it.
And there we go, just like that, it's blocked out. You can see the guide coat still left on the arch line where I left it there to define what I wanted to see when I'm going over my line. I want to give that a nice definition so that it stands out. It's fading as it comes out in this area. That's natural, that's what it's supposed to do. But this tool made this very easy. And not only that, it kept the floor clean. So when we clean cars like James Bond's car over there, and we clean the McLaren, which I know you guys have been complaining about, it's not gonna be dirty because this machine will keep it clean. And I am super stoked about that because that makes my job easier because guys, I like a clean shop. Believe it or not, I am a neat freak and I wanna always keep things picked up. And it's gonna help me with cars like this, which needs a lot of body work. But back to this car, super stoked. Let's finish this thing. I hope you guys can hear me good because it is decided to downpour here in the Sunshine State. A lot of you guys asked me in the last video, how am I going to protect the backside from rusting because I had put welds on here and then grinded it off. The way that I protect this is very simple. I use the 3M cavity wax. After I've done my metal work, I spray it. Then when I've finished that and I've got all my body work done, primed, I spray it again. And as you can see, I did it right before I prepped my body work here. But you can see the cavity wax in there. And then when I get this back from the paint shop, I'm gonna do the exact same thing. This will prevent any issues like we had with the V6 Charger, where we had to do a huge repair over here from a previous repair. The S65 is back from the paint shop and it is looking amazing. We replaced the doors and the fender because they were so badly damaged before from the previous accident and had body filler from top to bottom. The quarter panel though, we did not replace. It did have holes where they pulled the arch line. So what I did was I welded them up and I body worked them with my brand new Fez tool. The Net 2 abrasives, amazing, amazing sandpaper. Lasts very long and it takes away all of the dust. The floors are clean thanks to this machine. So thank you 3M for that. But I have to get this car back together. There's quite a bit of stuff inside of these doors. So I'm gonna get started right now and I'm gonna put this on time lapse so you guys can see the transformation of the S65 into the final edition.
Okay, now that we're good and caught up on all the work done, I can start assembling this car. Well, at least the front end, because Jack did the sides and also the rear, which I will show you later. And in the back of this shot, I don't know if you can see it,
he has set up a bunch of stuff to paint because we are not actually done painting. He is going to be clear coating a lot of the carbon fiber stuff because this did have a carbon fiber package on the mirrors and the side skirts, but all that stuff was in really bad shape. So Jack sanded it down, and while I'm putting this together, Jack is going to paint that. Then we're gonna put it all on the car, and then this car is gonna look brand new. I hope, because this was very expensive and it took a lot of time. This car better look good.
Girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I like the girls with their nails done. Girls with their
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a 2020 Mercedes-Benz. Well, actually, it's not even a Mercedes-Benz anymore. It's a Mercedes AMG S65. They did change that around in 2018. This thing looks brand new, and I mean brand new. Everything is as OEM as humanly possible. And Jack, what do you think about this?
I love it. I love it. This really makes this car. It sets it apart. It definitely is. Now it is done. It is in its final edition.
It is absolutely in its final edition. Now, what did we have to do to do this entire car from when I got it to now? Because it was quite a bit, wasn't it?
There was a lot of work, and there was a lot of bad body work done to this car. So,
That's why the car was cheap in the first place?
Yeah. I think you got it for a good price, but now it actually is. It's probably the value of the car is way better now. Like it is done so much nicer. We don't have any fiberglass hidden behind a cutoff bracket. We don't have doors that are Bondo from top to bottom. It was both doors. We can look at the other door later, and I can show you the Bondo shavings that are still in the door.
Let's go see that now. Actually,
let's look at that.
It's awesome that it's an aluminum door and it weighs nothing.
Yeah, no, I'm just really strong. So all that, all these.
So there's shavings in here.
That's all Bondo. So with that's a cheese file.
Cheese file.
So it essentially is just like what it sounds like. It's a file that they shape the filler with. So if you have to shape filler, you're doing it wrong.
Okay.
I mean, you want to get somewhat of the shape of the appearance, but if you're putting that much filler on and you're using a file to shape it, that's wrong. Don't do that.
And also on a repair like this, because there wasn't any, it's not like this is, a total hit. It was really kind of repairable, wasn't it?
It was a very easy fix. Obviously, it cost some money with the parts, but the fix part of it was a very simple fix. The quarter panels are steel, the doors are aluminum, the fender is aluminum, so replacing those parts should have been done to begin with, and the repair should have been done, and it would have been done so much nicer and easier if they would have just done it right the first time. But now we have come together and put this car back to its OEM state, and now it's final edition.
Now, this is not an OEM bumper conversion. This was, well, I got this from CKM Car Design, and this, for all intents and purposes, is a knockoff kit. This was made in China, but the fitment is very, very good. I was surprised the entire way through. Everything clipped in. I mean, it was hard to clip things in, but when it clipped in, it wasn't going anywhere. And honestly, it looks, I mean, if you look at the, at the gaps here, the gaps there, they're all really OEM. They're really good. They're really uniform. Nothing needed to be modified. Not really. A little bit in the back, right?
Yeah, a little bit in the back. There was stuff that they had done before in the back that wasn't right. So we just used the old clips from the bumper to kind of add to this bumper and make everything be as factory as possible. So, but it came out beautiful. I love this little accent right here.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
even that is even. It was adjustable to where you can make that nice and even.
Yeah, and we also have carbon fiber AMG exhaust. Well, I guess they're sort of connected to the exhaust, not really. These are just part of the bumper. The exhaust goes up under that, but it really finishes the look of this car. And it's a bit more aggressive, but it definitely looks newer. And we have the new taillights, new headlights, and everything is gonna work. It doesn't work right now because I still have to program the headlights. They're a little bit wonky. They have to be coded and told that they're on a car that is not the same year as the car that they were accustomed to. But I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Right now, it's looking fantastic. Thank you, Jack.
You're welcome, man, dude. This was a cool car to work on. I really enjoyed it. It was fun.
So, do you wanna borrow it for a night or something?
Yeah, dude. Take it on a date. Take my wife on a date or something. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Cause that's how you're getting paid. Cause I don't have any money.